This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Let's get right into the news. All right, so Beanie Siegel's out here spending some of those millions that Kanye. Now, Beanie Siegel gets his own money. Okay, I'm just saying, everyone's curious about the millions that Kanye promised him. He said, what did he say, 50 million? I own like 50 million or something like that. Because, Beanie Siegel gave him the name Yeezy. All right, so Freeway kind of teased this the other, like a couple weeks ago. He says, did the check clear yet? And they're all counting up money. Shout out to Freeway. Beanie Siegel, it would be great if Kanye even gave him a few million, for that. Because it's like, Beanie Siegel is like so important to the history of this culture. I mean, he brought us people like, he put together a crew of amazing artists from Philly, and brought a whole new energy to Rockefeller. And unfortunately, Rockefeller fell apart, and you can point fingers at whomever, right? Unfortunately, it fell apart. It was so strong, but there was different crews in there. You had Dipset, State Property, original Rockefeller crew, and it was almost like clash of just. And even though they probably all got along at certain times, it was still a clash and a separation occurred. And it was unfortunate. And some people, like Beanie Siegel, was going through legal problems during that whole clash where it started to fall apart. And Beanie Siegel had legal problems at that time and couldn't piece himself off in a manner where it was like, he had his own crew. Like, Cameron was able to piece himself off with Dipset and everybody was doing their own stuff. Freeway kept doing his thing for sure. Freeway's never stopped. I've never seen Freeway stop at all. That guy is a machine. He stays consistent. Freeway is probably one of the most loyal people I've seen out of State Property. He's always reaching out to Petey Crack and everybody else in State Property and keeping it unified. He doesn't really hold grudges, and I think really Freeway's the nucleus in State Property because he's such a good-hearted person, and just keeps everyone together and sees beyond ego and everything else, So it's great to see Beanie Siegel getting some money for his contributions from those times. Because, he went through a lot of hardships, and his voice isn't the same now, but his lyrics are still there. It's just, part of rap is having a voice, a distinct voice, and I feel so bad for him that his voice is a little bit different. But I'm glad to see him and Freeway and everybody doing that. And everyone's speculating if he got these millions. I'm sure Kanye did something. I mean, they've been linking up and everything. So then we got JAP 5. I think that's his name. We talked about this before. JAP 5 was arrested, killing Shady Blue from the Rolling 60s. Like, this has got to stop, man. Like, this stuff gets too crazy. Look at it, and just the other day, we got K-Flock. He got arrested last night for murdering somebody in New York just a week ago or something. It's like just a week ago. But it's like, yo, dude, like, people gotta stop, man. Like, it's sad when an argument spills into like, yo, you gotta end somebody's life when it's something that you could probably fix. Like, there's only a few things that would justify that. Someone would have to take someone out from your family, or like, it just, I still, it's, and now look, his whole career is over. JAP 5's career is probably over, right? He's done. And K-Flock, and it's like, dude, you guys ruined your whole lives for one moment. People got to think, like, and I don't care how young you are. I thought about this stuff in my 20s. There's moves I could have made in my 20s where, you're ego-driven and everything, and that you got to think, okay, what's the repercussions from this move? If I get caught or something happens, what happens 5 steps down the road, Oh, 20 years, 100 years. Who wants to do even a year, even a month in jail? You shouldn't, because it would be better to be working, a 9-to-5 job, making minimum wage, and a job you totally hate, than to be in jail. Like, at least you have a chance to go up. When you're in jail, you don't have a chance until you get out, and still then you have the roadblock of your record. It's like, come on, man. So K-Flock's arrested, his career's over, bro. It's done. He was caught on camera and everything. It's over. It's very sad. Nas dropped his album last night, Magic. I checked out a little bit of it. It's great. Okay, now Hit Boy already confirmed. King's Disease 3 is coming out. These guys, Nas and Hit Boy, match made in heaven, man. Because I think Hit Boy just motivates Nas to go to another level with his work ethic, because he's inspiring Nas to, like, go hard later in his career. Over 20 years later, 25 years later, still Nas is dropping crazy tracks, man. Like, that should be inspiring any rapper to get back in the studio, and really go hard. Then we got Seth Rogen and James Franco. James Franco recently did a interview, and he's talking about how Seth Rogen won't work with him anymore because of the allegations against him. Now, if you don't know, James Franco had a addiction to sex, okay? And basically he was teaching at a school and smashing students outside of his class. Not in his class, but outside of his class. And just, everything came down on him, and he's pretty much untouchable right now. Seth Rogen, everybody, that was his best friend for 20 years, he said. He said won't even, work with him anymore. And he says, I understand, like, I messed up. Who would have thought that James Franco would have that kind of addiction when he could get any girl he wanted, especially in the height of his career? What was that, 10 years ago or 8 years ago, maybe even 6 years ago? Like, he was, every girl would have got with him. But yeah, he had this addiction where he had to nonstop have sex. You know what I mean? It's like, he never got to the point where it was a emotional attachment. It was just the act of doing it. That's how he described it. It is what it is, man. But it was interesting to hear his perspective after he hasn't been spoken for 4 years. Anyways, guys, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Got some better news as the day goes on. Just want to start it off light. Smash that like button. I appreciate you all. Happy holidays. Peace.